So, let's talk about AI for marketers. We're going to break down a really great primer from Christopher Penn to help demystify this whole thing. If you've ever felt like you're just drowning in all the AI hype, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to cut right through the noise and give you a clear, practical roadmap.
I mean, how perfect is that quote from Professor Dan Ariely? It just completely nails the state of AI right now. There's so much talk, so much confusion, and this feeling that you're somehow behind because everyone else is doing it. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to move past all the talk and get to what's real and what's practical.
Okay, but before we jump into how AI can help, we've got to get really clear on the problem it's supposed to be solving. And trust me, for marketers, it is a huge one.
Think about it. What does your boss or your client or the CEO always ask for? It always comes down to these three things. Make it better, make it faster, and make it cheaper. The pressure is just relentless. So the real question is, how are we actually doing on that front?
Well, to get a sense of the challenge, let's just look at this number 50. That's 50 zettabytes of data that humanity created back in 2020 alone. Now, to give you an idea of how massive that is, forget the numbers. If you started binge-watching Netflix 55 million years ago, you would just now be finishing your very first zettabyte. It's insane. We're literally drowning in a data tsunami.
So you'd think with all this data, we'd be making smarter decisions, right? Well, here's where it gets kind of wild. A recent CMO survey found that a whopping 62% of top marketing leaders admit they're not using analytics to make decisions. They're just going with their gut. We're collecting all this information, but we're not actually putting it to work.
So, what's the bottom line here? The report card is not looking good. We're not getting better because teams are completely overwhelmed. We're not getting faster. I mean, how can you keep up when 3.7 million emails are sent every single second? And we are definitely not getting cheaper with spending at an all-time high while ROI just stays stubbornly flat.
So, how do we break this cycle? How do we finally hit that mark of better, faster, and cheaper? The answer is artificial intelligence. But let's stop thinking about it as this scary, complicated technology. Let's reframe it. Think of it as the superpower marketers have been waiting for. So, what does this superpower actually give us? Well, it really boils down to three core benefits, what we can call the 3 A's. And you'll see how they map perfectly to our big problem. We get acceleration. That's how we get faster. We get accuracy. That's how we get better. And we get automation. Well, that's how we get cheaper. This is how AI helps us break that cycle.
Okay, so you hear AI thrown around for everything these days. How do you spot the real deal? You need to understand this one key idea, machine learning. And this definition right here, this is your built-in BS detector. It's software that learns from data and writes its own code to get better at something without being explicitly programmed. That last part, that's the secret sauce. This really shows you just how different this is. With the software we're all used to, a person writes the code and the software spits out data. But with machine learning, it's flipped. We humans give it the data and we tell it what a good answer looks like. The machine then, and get this, writes its own code to figure out how to get there. It is a total game changer.
Okay, so what can this stuff actually do for you? Think of this chart as your menu of options. In the top left, you've got regression. That's for when you want to predict a number, like, what are our sales going to be next quarter? Below that is classification. This is for simple yes or no questions, like, is this customer going to cancel their subscription? Then on the right, for when you don't know the outcome, clustering can group similar customers together in ways you never saw before. And association finds hidden rules, like, hey, people who buy this also tend to buy that. This is the toolbox.
All right, that's enough theory. Let's make this real. Let's look at how these tools actually solve the kind of problems marketers face every single day.
Okay, here's a problem I bet a lot of you have. Your company is probably sitting on a mountain of gold. I'm talking about customer service calls, online reviews, sales notes, all this messy, unstructured data. And chances are you have no idea what secrets are hiding in there. And this is a fantastic example of what happens when you finally start to listen to that data. On the left, you see a word cloud from a company's job ads for truck drivers. Look at it. It's all about qualifications and requirements. But on the right, that's what an AI found by analyzing the recruiter's actual call notes. It's what the drivers really cared about: pay, getting home, and benefits. See the difference? It's a massive disconnect. So what do you think happened when they changed their job ads to talk about the stuff on the right instead of the stuff on the left? Boom! A 67% jump in applications. And the best part? They didn't spend one extra dollar on advertising. That is the power of listening to the data you already own.
All right, let's tackle another one, influencer marketing. Everyone's chasing them, right? But how do you find the people with real influence, not just the ones who have a big number next to their name that doesn't really mean anything?
Well, instead of just counting followers, AI can do something way smarter. It uses something called network graphing to literally map out the conversations. And what you find, time and time again, is that real influence isn't the person with the most followers. It's the person who is most central to the conversation, the one everyone else is talking to and about. Now that's a real influencer.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, right? But, and this is a huge but, none of this, not a single bit of it, is possible without one absolutely critical, non-negotiable ingredient, and that's your data.
You've heard this before, but it has never been more true than with AI. Garbage in, garbage out. I don't care how smart your algorithm is or how much you paid for your software. If you feed it bad data, you will get bad results. Period. End of story.
So the big question is, how do you know if your data is any good? Is it even ready for AI? The 6C Data Quality Framework is the perfect tool for that. Think of it like a report card for your data's health.
First, is it clean? Free of typos and errors? Is it complete? Are there big holes or missing pieces of info? Is it comprehensive? Does it actually have what you need to answer your questions? Is it chosen? Meaning, have you gotten rid of all the irrelevant junk? Is it credible? Did you collect it in a trustworthy way? And finally, is it calculable? Can your team actually use it? You have to be able to say yes to all of these.
Okay, so after hearing all this, what does it really mean for you, for your future as a marketer? I mean, should you be worried? Is a robot coming for your job?
Absolutely not. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. See, the real point of AI isn't to replace humans, it's to free us up to be more human. It automates all the boring, repetitive, number-crunching stuff that machines are great at. And that frees us up to focus on what we're great at: creativity, big-picture strategy, and human connection.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. Right now, today, sitting on your company's servers, in your customer emails, your web analytics, your sales calls, your data is telling a story, a really important story. The only question is, are you listening?